Today, I'm Brother Ray on the trigger. Honored to be the leader of the service. Welcome to Northwood Unitarian Universalist Church. This church is a place for compassionate community, spirit-searching, and courageous actions. Today, we gather with serious colleagues and friends, both here and watching online, to confer and celebrate her ordination to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. We welcome all who will seek these, and would especially like to welcome those visiting today to share this special occasion. It's good for us to be together today. Please enter the spirit of worship as we get our creative. Please rise for our processional hymn, Fire of Commitment, number 1028, in the key of hymn.
This is the hour. The time has come. Mindful of our responsibilities as leader of this faith and guardians of the living tradition, we call upon that great cloud of witnesses, those who came before, those who are here now, and those who have yet to come. We seek their presence, love, and support in this place at this hour. We kindle this flame to light their path and call them near as we undertake this sacred work. Reverend Constance.
Please join me in the responsive reading found in the order of service. As the reading departs in the regular part, I invite you to respond to the sections in the follows. Stand by this faith, work for it, and sacrifice for it.
There is nothing in all the world so important as to be loyal to this faith, which has placed before us the loftiest ideals,
which has comforted us in sorrow, strengthened us for noble duty, and made the world beautiful.
Do not demand immediate results, but rejoice that we are worthy to be entrusted with this great message.
That you are strong enough to work for a great truth, principle, without counting the cost.
Go on finding ever new applications of these truths and new enjoyments in their contemplation, always trusting in the one God, which ever lives and loves.
Please. purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather there to grow more generous in spirit and in action. This is the great end of all the world's faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine by acts of creation and compassion. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit by contributing to the Living Tradition Fund, which offers financial support to ministers, religious professionals, seminarians, and their families.
Soothing is hard, let your soul rise up to the angels, teach you to fly. Weary of clouds, helps you back down, welcome to you. This hollow ground, beautiful, beautiful, heaven below, heaven above, heaven we know, here in this world, here in our world, church of the earth. Windows are wide, darkness and light. Mystery and beauty meet you inside. There's room enough to hold all of us, gather in friendship, gather in love, beautiful, beautiful trust. Heaven below, heaven below, we're in our home, church of the earth, church of the earth, church of life, ancient and bright, like that inside us shines, like that we share. This is our prayer, that we may always find and see here at our feet, here in this sun, in this heartbeat, oh, it's written gold, golden Christ, heaven below, heaven below, here in this way, here in our home, church of the earth, heaven below, golden Christ, heaven below, heaven below, here in our home, church of the earth. Heaven we know, here is great, here in our world, church of the earth, church of the earth.
God speaks to each of us as He makes us, then walks with us silently out of the night. These are the words we dimly hear. You, sent out beyond your recall, go to the limits of your longing. Embody me. Flare up like a flame and make big shadows I can move in. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. Don't let yourself lose me. Nearby is the country they call life. You will know it by its seriousness. Give me your hand. Into from Reverence of Life. As for the fear that compassion will involve you in suffering, counter it with the realization that the sharing of sorrow expands your capacity to share joy as well. When you callously ignore the suffering of others, you lose the capacity to share their happiness too. However little joy we may see in this world, the sharing of it, together with the good that we ourselves create, produces the only happiness which makes life tolerable. And finally, you have no right to say, I will be this or I will be that, because fighting one way will make me happy another. No, you must be what you ought to be. A true, knowing person who identifies the self with the world, who experiences the world within the self. Whether you are happier by the ordinary standards of happiness or not doesn't matter. The secret's hour does not require of us that we should be happy. To obey the call is the only thing that satisfies deeply. So I tell you, don't let your hearts grow numb. Stay alert. It is your soul which matters.
We'd like to sing, I am willing. The words of the order of service. If you rise and respond in the spirit, join us.
In 1961, new religion was born. Unitarian Universalism, a religion of joy. It brought together, consolidated, I believe is our current proper way to refer to it. It consolidated the theologies and the practices and the stories of the historic faiths of Unitarianism and Universalism. And since that time, we've been trying to figure out how these two faiths entirely fit together. And in the meantime, more than 50 years, we've been adding in new things. New things from the world have been coloring our faith. And so Unitarian Universalism is a new religion that draws from two very deep wells. And these two deep wells, the wells of our living tradition, still have wisdom that we can find and new relevancies to old lessons. But I want to be very clear on this. Though I do believe that a new religion was born in 1961, we are not the tabula rasa, the blank slate of religions. As Dr. Rebecca Parker so aptly puts it, when someone walks into one of our congregations, they do not walk into no place, they walk into some place. This is the place where I was ordained. At my ordination, the Reverend Mark Edmiston Lang said, "You stand on the shoulders of giants." I was in awe of that. I was in awe of the idea that I would be stepping into shoes that I knew were far too big for me. And it's good to be in awe, but I think that I was also a little scared. Like, I kind of thought Unitarian Universalism was like this delicate Fabergé egg. I really did not want to be the person who broke Unitarian Universalism. I cannot break Unitarian Universalism. You will not break Unitarian Universalism. It is right to treat our tradition with respect and awe. This is a faith that has changed the world. But the way that we treat it with respect is not by treating it as something delicate. No, the way we treat it with respect is to stretch it and pull it and push it, kick the tires. Hey, how fast can this baby go? What can this thing do? And what can we do with it? This is how we honor our tradition. The theologian Karl Barth popularized the term semper reformanda, always reforming. Because the idea, he wasn't talking about Unitarian Universalism, but it applies to us. And he was talking about the idea that the church should always be changing and growing and reforming and becoming better. And we root this in the idea, one of the cornerstones of our faith, articulated by James Luther Adams, and that is our belief that revelation is continuous. There's always something more to learn. But, as any first grade teacher can tell you, the best ways to learn are not simply by receiving, by reading, by hearing. The best ways to learn are to engage with the ideas, to experiment, to try things out, to adjust, and even to fail. Almost 200 years ago, 1819, William Ellery Channing named, claimed, and defined Unitarianism. And he drew this from a Bible verse. He used a particular Bible verse, which I say still has relevancy for us. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Test everything. Hold fast to what is good. And this is what we do. We speak the truth as we know it, and then we test it. And we keep testing it and keep testing it. We make adjustments, and if we reach a point where we no longer believe that that truth is, that it is no longer true, we don't believe that anymore, we are unafraid to reject it. It's part of our heritage, of course, to reject the truth claims of other religions, but what makes us so powerful is that we are even willing to reject our own when we find that they no longer fit. William Ellery Channing, when he gave that sermon, he talked about different points of Unitarianism, and one of the points that he spoke to was the idea of the perfectibility of humans. He so believed that, the moral perfectibility of humans, that he tried everything he could do to find that perfectibility in himself. And he took cold baths, slept on the cold floor, didn't give himself enough sleep, and it was because he felt that he had these areas of brokenness in him, in what he described as his effeminate nature, his unnatural urges, and he tried to rid it from himself to the point that he broke his physical health in such a way that he never recovered. I believe we can say that we have rejected that idea of the perfectibility of humans. Humans are not perfect. We will not be perfect. And Unitarian Universalism, part of us being a religion of joy, is that we prioritize authenticity higher over some search for whatever perfectibility is. And we have drawn from our Universalist side a commitment to humility. It's not just us as individuals, this issue. In 1885, James Freeman Clarke talked about the 5 points of our faith, and one of those that he talked about was the progress of humankind onward and upward forever. It was just assured. It was just going to happen. I don't know about y'all, but in 2018, that's a hard one for me to swallow, as I think that it is for Unitarian Universalism. When we look around, especially right now, at the things we humans have done in this world, at what we have done to the world, to the earth, we know that this is not an automatic, and that any progress we make is going to require much of us. So we have rejected that idea. It's okay to reject ideas that no longer fit, that no longer hold true. In 1841, Theodore Parker exhorted us to distinguish between the transient and the permanent, to strip away the cultural issues that came from another time and another context, and instead look for the deeper, the permanent truths that might be underneath it all. I think that this still holds great relevancy for us. Unitarianism and Universalism and Unitarian Universalism were all formed, shaped in cultures of patriarchy and white supremacy. And so now it's time to learn how to strip away those layers, the layers of that cultural baggage that keep this faith from being what it should be, to look for the permanent and the relevant. What are the things that are relevant to us today and in this time? Perhaps even more important, who is this faith relevant to? Who is this religion for? Because this faith is worth too much, and the need for it is too great for us to restrict it to a small subset of culture that is white and upper middle class, liberal, drives, listens to NPR as they drive their Prius to Whole Foods. And if right now you are feeling a little too seen, that's okay, because there is room for us here too. But we have to let go of some of those transient issues that aren't even significant values, so that we may be more relevant to a world that needs us. And it will take sacrifice. It will take sacrifice. You know those two deep wells that I spoke about, Unitarianism, Universalism? I bet you anything, if we go back to those wells, that we can probably find a theology of sacrifice. Because this is a religious value, a theology of sacrifice that is relevant for us today, and that will help us take the next steps that we need to take. It is just too important. We have to figure this out. We have to be willing to embrace humility and sacrifice so that we can do the things this faith calls us to do. James Luther Adams also said this: the affirmative answer of prophetic religion, which may be heard in the very midst of the doom that threatens like thunder, is that history is in a struggle of dead earnest between justice and injustice, looking towards the ultimate victory in the promise and the fulfillment of grace. Anyone who does not enter into that struggle with the affirmation of love and beauty misses the mark and thwarts creation as well as self-creation. In 1935, in Germany, they passed the Nuremberg laws. These were the laws that stripped citizenship from all of the Jews, and this would become the legal justification for all of the atrocities to come. Also, in 1935, in the United States, the Universalists entered into a new bond of fellowship with one another. And one of the things that they lifted up was a belief in the supreme worth of every human personality. The supreme worth. Supreme, that means Like there's nothing else on top of that. That means sovereign. That means it is the top. What would it look like if we embraced this simple but radical idea and then worked for its fulfillment, worked for its application? It would disrupt everything, especially if we had done our work of opening our doors wider and finding other people who make common cause with us. Because if you truly believe that every human life is of supreme worth, that there is nothing higher than that, then that means things like financial profits, important maybe, but it's below human life. That means the dividends of health insurance companies or gun manufacturers, hey, may be important, but not as important as human life. Human life, more important than political wins. Human life, more important than immigration policies. It would be a radical thing for us to take out of that deep well of universalism this one simple idea. This is a religion of joy. And by lifting up the power and the miracle of life, of human lives, this is how we can love the hell out of the world. Unitarian Universalism is not a system of belief, though we have many beliefs and those are important, they guide us. Unitarian Universalism, this religion of joy, is a way of living. Live your faith joyously.
Will the members of Northwoods Unitarian Universalist Church please rise? Sarah Prickett, recognizing your calling, serve the cause of the religion, and having received the recommendation of the Ministerial Fellowship Committee of the Unitarian Universalist Association congregations, and by the authority of the vote by the members of this congregation, we desire to ordain you to the Unitarian Universalist. We offer you ordination, a privilege bestowed upon us by the nature of our free church. We offer you a free pulpit, even as we are free people. Among us, and wherever you may be called to serve, we would have you preach the living word, in truth and in love, ministering alike to our joys and sorrows, setting forth, no less by your example, but by your counsel, the principles of our chosen faith. Are you ready to enter upon this ministry?
I am.
Congregation.
We, the members of Northwoods Unitarian Universalist Church, do hereby ordain you, Sarah Prickett, to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. We pledge ourselves to journey with you in unity of spirit, in the bond of peace, and all the ways of beauty, wisdom, and love.
With a deep sense of obligation and opportunity, mindful of its privileges, joys, and responsibilities, and witnessed by all gathered here and by the holy that resides in us all. I take up the ministry to which you ordained me. To declare that I shall discharge it with my whole heart and mind, as I shall find the grace and strength to do so.
As our newly ordained
Prime Minister, the people of Northwoods Unitarian Universalist Church wish to give you a gift. May you wear this stole in good health and in good faith, serving us well, even as we serve together to bind our hearts deep longing with the world's great need. May this symbol May this symbol of your sacred office serve as a tangible reminder of the blessings you will receive today. As we begin, join me in placing your hands over your heart. Feel its precious beating. Feel, too, the stirring of your spiritual heart, and let its compassion and wisdom radiate into your receiving hands. We, the ministering hands of our religious tradition, and the ministering hands of this community, unite in our support of Reverend Sarah Prickett and her ministry. I invite Reverend Sarah to step to the center. And I invite Sarah's family to come forward, laying hands upon Sarah. May this strong foundation connect you to your roots and remind you of the many ancestors who witnessed today this sacred act. I invite Sarah's colleagues to come forward, laying hands upon Sarah and her family. In this way, you add your blessings, and symbolically the blessing of the ancient and living tradition of colleagues in whose line we stand. I invite the members and friends of this congregation to come forward, laying hands upon Reverend Sarah, connecting as one body, hand and shoulder.
This is the sound of one voice. And there is one voice. The sound of one who breaks the truth. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of voices too. Sound of minutes singing with you. Helping each other to make it through. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices free, singing together in harmony, surrendering to the mystery. This is the sound of voices free. This is the sound of voices free. This is the sound of all around, singing to the land and wind with love. The rest the arm they will turn to love. This is the sound of all around. This is the sound of all around.
Hello, Sarah. What a long journey it's been to this day. I'm very honored to have walked it with you, and I look forward. Hello, Sarah. What a long journey it's been to this day. I'm very honored to have walked it with you, and I look forward to following your awesome career in the So here's what I have to say to your ladies. Don't forget to minister to yourself. I know this may be obvious, coming from me, being a spiritual director, but feed your spirit. Read, pray, meditate, be among the trees, exercise, make a ceremony out of having tea or coffee, binge Netflix, take off on a getaway weekend with Sid, write poetry, read poetry, take up a new hobby or resurrect an old one. Schedule and plan dates not only with your awesome spouse, but with friends. Don't skip doctor's visits. Spouse. And remember the Sabbath day. Keep holy. You are not to work on the Sabbath. Take a day off every week and don't work. You're not supposed to work on the Sabbath. It's the Sabbath. Minister to the congregation. Since Sid has you watching football, I'm going to use coaching metaphor. The art of ministry is partly to know when to encourage and when to be that hard-ass coach that gets in the player's face and demands their best and takes absolutely no excuses for not giving it their all. Coaches don't let their players give up. Do not let them go back to Pharaoh in the safety of the way it was always done in Egypt. Remember, in the end, all coaches and mentors and guides can only do so much. In the end, the players play the game. Remember also that it's possible to coach well, play well, give it your all, and still lose. That's okay. Failing teaches us to be better in ways winning never does. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Most importantly, I think, be a pastor. We don't use the word pastor much in Unitarian Universalism, but I think none of the other work of ministry really happens if we're not a pastor. Hold hands and cry following death. Hold a new baby after birth. Visiting the hospital when no one knows what's wrong. Sitting and having tea with someone for whom your visit is their only regular company. When someone loses a job, a house, a pet, their car keys. When someone is depressed or addicted, down and out. When someone graduates high school or college or gets a promotion or is in a play or has a recital. Just show up. Show up as often as you can. Send cards. Write something that used to be called a letter on on paper with pencil or pen. Use the postal mail to send it. Send texts that say, your pastor is thinking of you, have an awesome day, see you Sunday. I truly believe when all is said and done, after the preaching and teaching and strategic planning and fundraising and activism, the moment you will remember most from your ministry, the memories with the greatest staying power and emotional force, will be the simple pastoring moments. They will elevate you to amazing highs and shake you so low to the ground with trembling. And they will remind you of why you are called and who you are. Minister to the community. You are the voice and the face of liberal religion. What your community sees and hears of you is what they know of Unitarian Universalism and liberalism. Show up for your community. Be present. Show up. Remind your congregation to show up for the least, the last, the lost, and the left out. And bring it back to ministering to yourself. As much as some like to think our congregational polity forces each congregation to be an island unto itself and each minister a solo and solitary practitioner, don't buy into it. Reach out for help. This is a team sport. Call your good offices, call your mentors, talk and hang out with your colleagues, and do it more than you think you need to. It's always okay. Remember, most of all, Sarah, to grant yourself the grace that Unitarian Universalism offers to all people. The grace that you, even you, Reverend Sarah Prickett, are worthy of dignity and respect. You are valuable, accepted, and loved, just as you are. You are up to this call, Reverend Sarah Prickett. You are enough.
I feel really tall up here. I think it means I'm closer to heaven. Hello, I'm Reverend Brian Ferguson. I serve Welfare Unitarian Universalist Congregation in South Austin, and I bring greetings and congratulations to Reverend Sarah. Now, my duty is to give the charge to the congregation. And what that basically means is I can tell you what I really like to tell my own congregation, but I'm too scared to. So if you can actually get this message back to South Austin, I really appreciate it. But the charge to the congregation doesn't always happen at an ordination. Because not all congregations who ordain a minister ends up with that minister serving them. But in this case, Sarah will be, Reverend Sarah, I should address you properly, will be serving you as a developmental minister. And I want you to take this time to kind of explore that, because that's confusing. I'm a developmental minister as well. Most of you just think of Sarah as your minister. And she is. The developmental ministers are a special role. They come in for 3, 5, 7 years and really try and help congregations make some important transformation that they seek to do. So I hope you realize that you're all in the process of transformation. So that's going to be part of the charge to you, is be open to transformation. Now, one of the things that Joanna, and it's been mentioned before, was about the freedom of the pulpit. And I also like to say we have freedom of the pulpit, but we also have freedom of the pews. And freedom of the pulpit means that we have the freedom to speak on subjects important to us. It also comes with a responsibility, and that responsibility is to honour the Unitarian Universalist tradition and heritage as we understand it. And I know that Reverend Sarah is very aware of both that responsibility and the freedom that comes with it. Now, freedom of the pews, that doesn't mean if Sarah says something you disagree with, you don't like, you can walk out. If Sarah is truly honouring, which I know she will, the Unitarian Universalist tradition, then your responsibility that comes with your freedom is to take that message, to reflect on it, and find how that might help each of us here in this community transform ourselves to become the beloved community that we wish to be. The serving a Unitarian Universalist congregation as a minister is a privilege, and it comes with the challenge and responsibility that I just mentioned. And Unitarian Universalist congregations come with many unique challenges. And we are a community of shared values and differing beliefs, and that is okay. And it's important to recognize that there will be beliefs that Sarah has that may not hold, that you may not hold, and there may be beliefs you hold that Sarah doesn't hold, that Sarah will minister to each of you where you are, and I invite you all to be open to that. And one of the great things of being a developmental minister is become pre-5. We won't believe it. I remember talking to my supervisor saying that, you know, the great thing about being an intern, because I've been a ministerial intern, which I did apply for, where Reverend Joanna is our minister. And I said, the great thing about being an intern is I come pre-fire, and my supervisor, Reverend Chuck Field, said, we all do. And I think it's really important to remember this. It's obvious as a developmental minister, but even as a settlement minister, that congregations are not defined by the minister. You all gathered here define this religious community. Sarah will help you to step into your ministry. Sarah will help you to step into your vision, mission, help you define it. But she will not be the defining force. She will be a leader. She will minister to you. But this community is what defines this religious community, with your differing beliefs and shared values. And ministering is a complex job. Reverend Sarah will not be a friend. She will be friendly. She will be close to you. She will share some of the most intimate moments with you, but it's an asymmetric relationship, where she will always be your minister, which you can't do as a friend. It's important to recognize that. Sarah will have her own support through colleagues that are gathered here, through colleagues in history, through the Unitarian Universalism. Sarah does not need you to minister to her. Her job is to minister to you. And you will find that being a minister is a very unique relationship that you have with the minister. And one of the reasons I believe that we get to talk for 20 minutes on a Sunday is we listen for 20 hours during the week. And sometimes it feels longer. Just like some of the sermons feel longer than 20 minutes. But it's important because we ultimately, Sarah's responsibility is the welfare of the greater community. And in Unitarian Universalism, we strive for everyone to have their voices heard, but not everyone gets their way. And that includes the minister, that includes leadership. This is a congregational polity church, and it's reflected in the democratic process that we practice day in, day out within Unitarian Universalism. And I'm going to let you into a big secret about Sarah. I can see you perked up at that, including Sarah. She's just a person. She's just a human being. She has all the wonderful gifts and charisma and frailty and vulnerability that all of us have. I have, Sarah has, each of us here has. Remember that. Let her have a Sabbath, let her, and have no judgment when she binge watches her favourite show. I'm not going to give away what that is. No, not unless it's the right price. But also, have expectations of Sarah. She has expectations of you. But unspoken expectations are just premeditated resentments. So speak and be clear about the expectations you have of each other. Now, I'm a great believer in having high hopes and low expectations. I find I'm not disappointed. So I think with Sarah, you can raise them to meet your expectations. She's much better than me. But she is a human person, and remember that. She will take the emotional burdens that many of us bring to our congregation, and she welcomes many of the struggles that we have. Because she realizes, as many of us do, that we grow from our wounds, and many of us minister from our wounds. And there's a wonderful story from the Buddhist tradition of the Buddha and this young man. This young man is diagnosed with juvenile diabetes as a teenager. And he reacts with all the rage and anger that you would expect of someone diagnosed with that at such a young age. And he will not control his diet. He will not take medical advice, and he deteriorates and he spirals into depression. And eventually, he's at his lowest point, and he sees this image of a Buddha. And it's a young Buddha as a teenager. And he recognizes it as a Buddha. He's not religious, but he recognizes it because he lives in California. He recognizes it, and he suddenly feels a sense of peace and calm. And all of a sudden, out over his shoulder, a knife enters the Buddha's heart. And he reacts with the rage he had when he was first diagnosed. He reacts, why is life like this? This is not fair, this is undeserved. But you notice the expression in the Buddha's face doesn't change. And then imperceptibly he notices the Buddha is growing, and the Buddha's heart is growing. But the knife stays the same size. And he recognizes that as the Buddha's response to the knife. He is expanding. He grows until the knife is but a speck in the heart. And that's what I invite each of you to do, to bring your wounds here and to grow beyond your wounds. It will always be part of us. It may define us for a time, it will not define us for our rest of our life. Because we welcome in our tradition that hardship, because eventually we can find a path to joy beyond our wounds. And our wounds help us to engage compassion, to engage that welfare of others, often comes from our own wounds. And Sarah will challenge you in your ministry. And sometimes we Unitarian Universalists get too focused on our own individual identity. And what Sarah will do through her ministry is find this congregational identity. What is your purpose as a congregation? What is your mission as a congregation? How do you want to be transformed through the search for meaning? And how do you want to transform the community beyond this through acts of love? These will give you, this congregation, a purpose. And you may disagree with some of Sarah's decisions, but I invite each of you to consider, approach this with curiosity rather than judgment. Because curiosity is sacred. Judgment is usually our own egos at work. But the sacred work is to engage the difference, to engage that which we maybe have tension with, to engage that which we maybe even disagree with curiosity and not judgment. So that's my charge to you. Approach Sarah's ministry, approach your life with curiosity, a holy curiosity, rather than judgment. The late Unitarian Universalist minister, Jack Mendelsohn, said the future of the liberal church is almost totally dependent on two factors: great congregations, whether large or small, skilled, effective, dedicated ministers. The strengths features is they create one another.
How do you want to create a great community? How do you want to create a great minister and Sarah? And how do you want to co-create a community with an identity that will bless our world? But that is it. That is my charge to you and to Sarah. And I hope I haven't broken community trust.
I'm the Reverend Dr. Colin Boston, interim senior minister of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, and I bring you greetings from our congregation. There are few rites practiced in Unitarian Universalist congregations that are older than the rite hand of fellowship. The practice is attested to in the Christian New Testament. We find Paul describing it in his letter to the Galatians. When James, Cephas, and John, who were acknowledged as pillars of the church, recognized the grace that had been given to me, they gave me and Barnabas the right hand of fellowship, and asked only that we remember the poor. First, Puritan ministers and then Unitarian ministers were inspired by this text to extend the right hand of fellowship as an act of recognizing the grace or ministerial authority being given to the new minister. It implies that the new minister is being welcomed into an unbroken line of succession that somehow extends back to Jesus himself. Now, I'm not going to make that claim. But I can trace my own line of ministerial authority back to at least October 12th, 1952. For it was on that day in Ellsworth, Maine, that a young Icelandic Unitarian minister named Niels Gunnarsson received the right hand of fellowship. 26 years later, on April 22nd, 1979, the same Niels Gunnarsson stood in the Unitarian Church of Lincoln, Nebraska, and offered the right hand of fellowship to Jay Atkinson. Jay extended it to me on May 27th, 2007, at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Long Beach. And now, 11 years later, I stand here to create another link in the chain. Sarah, the names of all known and unknown who have gone before me in the chain of ministerial authority and tradition. I welcome you into the collegial tradition of Unitarian Universalist ministry. As a token of that, I extend this right hand of
Love calls us out into the world, and love calls us home. Love calls us into the great unknowable mystery of friendship. May we all remember that love comes into the world not just by faith and hope, but through courage, resistance, and action. May we all be ever ready to answer its call and to give the yes the universe asks of us.
It doesn't matter if you love him or capital H-I-M. Just put your paws up, because you were born this way, baby.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you.